You sit down at your desk, log into the platform, and expect a standard introductory chat. Instead, a digital avatar flickers to life on your monitor and immediately presents you with a highly complex, dynamically generated coding problem. The immediate instinct is to panic. You assume you have to write out flawless syntax from memory or perfectly balance a massive equation on the spot before a timer runs out. But the machine conducting the interview already knows how to code. It can generate the raw work instantly. It is actually looking to see if you can spot the 10% of the work that the AI got dangerously wrong. If you simply agree with the machine's suggested output, the system records an immediate failure. It requires you to challenge its assumptions, demanding undeniable proof of superior human judgment. Success now depends on outsmarting the system itself, turning the interrogation into a psychological evaluation of how well a human can troubleshoot the very machine evaluating them. To survive this environment, you have to understand how the algorithm actually listens to you. The AI acts like a digital highlighter, constantly scanning your spoken words for structural logic, rather than waiting for a single correct trivia fact at the very end of your sentence. Look at this visual representation of human speech. We naturally fill our conversations with noise, nervous rambling, small talk, and emotional context. The algorithm actively strips out those sections, leaving blank spaces where your personality used to be. What remains is the signal. The system compresses your speech, searching specifically for high semantic density, strong action verbs, and clear root cause analysis to fill the checkboxes on its invisible grading rubric. Because the AI lacks human empathy, it cannot read between the lines or give you the benefit of the doubt. Your competence is judged entirely by the mathematical weight of those remaining data blocks. In this landscape, you must treat your speech as a means to feed properly formatted data arrays directly into an algorithm. Let's apply this to a specific technical scenario. Imagine the AI hands you a textbook mathematical formula, like calculating 100 factorial, and asks you to deploy it for a company application. If you execute that math flawlessly in your head and proudly deliver the exact correct numerical answer, you will likely fail. Executing that specific formula naively in a real-world server environment triggers an integer overflow. The computer simply runs out of digital dials to hold a number that massive, breaking the system entirely. The correct response is to verbally identify the AI's logical flaw out loud. You prove your practical engineering judgment over rote numerization by explaining exactly why the textbook formula is dangerous in production. But this exposes candidates to a mechanical hazard known as the silence trap. If you sit quietly for a few seconds to calculate that flaw in your head, the system's voice activity detection assumes you are finished and abruptly ends your interview. To survive, you must use a mechanism called speak to pause. If you need time to think, you have to literally narrate your internal chain of thought step by step to keep the microphone active. The AI demands total cognitive transparency. If you do not articulate your logical bridges out loud, your unspoken brilliance literally does not exist to the machine. This grueling interrogation process is testing a metric called AI Collaboration Fluency. Companies use these platforms to determine if you are actually safe to deploy alongside their automated tools. As tools like vibe coding and generative AI handle the heavy lifting of raw production, the value of the human worker is moving out of the engine room and into the control booth. This chart illustrates the new goal of human capital. When raw code and art are generated in seconds, the primary job requirement becomes acting as the digital manager, filtering and correcting the high-speed outputs of an automated team. Mastering the strict, logical communication required to pass this AI gatekeeper forces you to strip away your own vague habits. It trains your brain to organize scattered thoughts into a pure, step-by-step logical sequence. To succeed, you have to step into the role of a senior manager who understands the limitations of their tools. You aren't just taking a test, you are proving you have the judgment to oversee a digital